Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today we are doing the what's next on the newly crowned WBO Featherweight Champion of the world at 126 pounds, Robeisy Ramirez, following his best victory to date, a hard-fought but deserving 12-round unanimous decision over former junior featherweight champ Isaac Dogboe. That took place on Saturday, April 1st on ESPN. Now, before we get into that, guys, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate any and all support I can get. Just trying to, grow my channel. If you don't like what I'm doing, you could always, give me a thumbs down or leave me a comment. Let me know why you don't like what I'm doing. And, I would appreciate that too. So, back to Ramirez now. So the fight with Dogboe, he fought very technical. He outworked Dogboe, outboxed him. Dogboe was in the fight though. He was landing shots and kept coming forward, showed a lot of heart. I thought he was gonna blow Dogboe out of there. I really did, but Dogboe really showed that he still got a dog in the fight, and maybe Ramirez isn't as good as we think he is yet. So, I definitely think Ramirez has the talent to be a dominant fighter at 126, but he still, worked hard and got a convincing unanimous decision here. So now the big question is, what's next for Robeisy Ramirez, the new WBO champion, following this victory? Well, the fight with Dogboe, it was a vacant title fight. Dogboe was the mandatory and Ramirez was right there, so he shouldn't have a mandatory due next. It should be an optional defense for him, and that's good. That means he can pretty much do what he wants. So let's run through the top 10 and see what the options are for the newly crowned champ. Emmanuel Navarrete has moved on, so he's not in the top 10 anymore. Let's look at Rey Vargas, the reigning WBC champ. Not going to happen. Not only are they with different promotions, but Vargas is likely going to be fighting Brandon Figueroa next in a mandatory fight for the WBC belt. So not seeing that one. Mark Magsayo moving up to 130, so he's not going to be an option. Gary Antoine Russell's already moved. Gary Russell Jr. has already been making plans to move up to 130, so that's not going to be an option either. Brandon Figueroa coming off that big win over Mark Magsayo. He is in line to fight Vargas next. So, and I think that's what he's going to get. So, the two rival promotions not likely going to work together with Top Rank and the PBC to make it happen. You got WBA champion Mauricio Lara. He's lined, he's with the Zone, but he's lined up to fight Lee Wood again in a rematch in May, and likely going to fight Josh Warrington second half of the year. So I'm not seeing Ramirez and Lara being possible. You have Luis Lopez, the reigning IBF champ. Now, this is interesting. If Lopez gets by Michael Conlan at the end of May, which I think Conlan's going to win the fight, but I do think Lopez is a very live underdog. I definitely like his chances going in against Conlan, and I do think he can win. I really believe that if Lopez beats Conlan, we're probably going to see Lopez and Robeisy Ramirez next, as long as they do not order Lopez to make a mandatory defense, because Conlan is an optional defense for him. So I think right now it's up in the air. And again, I think Conlan's going to win, but I do think if Lopez pulls out the victory over Conlan, then this fight definitely has some legs to it. You got Lee Wood, the former WBA champion. He's fighting Mauricio Lara in a rematch. I don't think he wins that fight, but even if he does, he's probably going to be staring at a third fight with him or a showdown with Josh Warrington after that. So not seeing the two rival promotions getting together to unify in that instance. Then you got Josh Warrington, the former IBF champion. Not seeing this one either. I think Warrington is taking some time off, licking his wounds from his loss to Lopez, and he's lining up to fight the winner of Mauricio Lara and Lee Wood in their rematch at the end of May. And again, Warrington's just with a rival promoter, so I'm not seeing this one happening next. And then after that, you got Michael Conlan. Another interesting matchup. This is a fight that I eventually think Bob Arum wants to make, but I don't think he wants to do it next, although it could happen. If Conlan beats Luis Lopez at the end of May, I do think there's a possibility that they make this fight for the second half of the year. But I'm leaning towards the less likely, because I think Bob Arum might want to build the fight first. He might want to let both of them go and get victories in their next fights in the second half, and then build this for an early next year showdown to unify belts. So I do believe this fight happens at some point. I don't think it's going to happen next, but I do think it is a possibility, because they're both with top rank. And then you got, that's it for the top 10. Now, a rematch with Dogboe doesn't make sense. I don't see that. But one option that I did not mention that I do think is very, very possible is former two-time world title challenger Joet Gonzalez. Gonzalez fought on the undercard. He got a nice win. And remember, he fought tooth and nail against Dogboe, lost a razor-thin split decision in a fight that I thought was personally a draw, and it could have went either way. That was just last year, and he's been there. He's been in a ring against Navarrete. He's been in a ring against Shakur Stevenson. He is a very good measuring stick type opponent, and a very good first opponent to have, and he's a top-ranked guy. So I think a fight between those two, Ramirez and drawing a blank now, Gonzalez, is very, very possible. So to wrap it all up, the most likely options, in my opinion, are Joet Gonzalez. I think is the most likely option, just because I don't believe Bob Arum will build up, will do a Conlan and Ramirez fight next, but he could. I think Michael Conlan is definitely an option if Bob Arum wants to do that fight next, because the one thing is they would both be in optional mode in their next fight, so he might do it. And then I also think Lopez, so the winner of Conlan Lopez, I think if Lopez wins, it's very likely, unless they force a mandatory on the winner of Conlan and Lopez, which I just said they would be an optional. No, the IBF is likely going to be a mandatory mode for the next defense, because Lopez was the mandatory. He beat Warrington, and now they're allowing an optional defense for Lopez against Conlan. So he would likely, the winner of that fight would likely have to make a mandatory next. But if they can make the fight happen, maybe they would do an interim title fight, and they wouldn't have to make a mandatory until the first part of next year. So again, I definitely think the winner of Lopez and Conlan has a strong chance to land the Ramirez fight next, but I'm really leaning towards Joet Gonzalez being the guy. But you never know. But Robeisy Ramirez has a lot of good options coming his way following this victory over Dogboe. Congrats to him, and we'll see what happens next for him. So that's it. That's what I got. That's what's next on newly crowned WBO Featherweight Champion of the World at 126 pounds, Robeisy Ramirez, following the victory over Dogboe. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been here with the truth.